beginning to be a bit of a star himself. Wins the championship. Oh, shucks, boys. Oh, how American. Oh, shucks. And we are live from Cambridge. And Cambridge is lovely today. You know, those of you who push schleps have never been to Cambridge, never been to Harvard, well, you are missing out on one of life's great treasures. Just so you would put you in the geography of it. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Lant. I am the CEO, the co-founder, and the chief news and bottle washer around these parts. Also the talent discovery person. You will remember the famous MDM assessment of Fred Astaire. Can't sing, can dance a little. That's an MIT talent scout said. I would give you a slightly higher talent scout evaluation than Jeremiah. We've been doing this program, Anything Goes, now for donkey's years. We are the longest running live program on the internet, and what we talk about is honestly about anything that comes into our heads, but it always comes back one way or another to the subject of money. And I'm going to discuss and start you off with some concepts around that. If I sound slightly incoherent, it's because I am slightly incoherent. I was up all night last night. I'm writing furiously to finish my autobiography. It is a pip. Last night I was hot. Boy, I was hot last night. Wonderful. You guys are all going to buy multiple copies, I'm sure. What do you want to say to the people before we start off?
You're out. We're always doing great things here. Never a dull moment.
That's true. I'm going to start off by sort of my many sayings. All assets in play. Maybe Jeremiah will write it down. A little bit of arthritis in my fingers today. All assets in play. What does it mean? How many of you were listening to what I just did with Sotheby's in New York, the silver sale today? I was bidding on 2 bids. I got the first one for under the low estimate, and I got creamed on the second one. So that's pretty good, actually. I got some of the Royal English silverware. By silverware, I don't nice forks and spoons, I mean plates. They were owned by King William IV, Queen Victoria's uncle, and had his 2 sons who were been born alive. And one of them would have been king. Queen Victoria wouldn't have even existed. What do you think about that? But these plates are the witness to history. What does all assets in play mean, Jeremiah? What do you think it means?
We always have to have all assets in play. That's the name of our game here.
I had a certain amount of money in my trust fund, and I wanted to invest it. I wanted to create another asset for my silver collection. And so I went looking to the silver that exists in England, France, and the various sales. And April is a very big month for auctions, and I now added 3 new lots that are now what they are is becoming worth more, increasing in value. And so I don't want my money sitting in a passbook savings account. I want it out there making money, and I happen to like it the way that I choose it to invest in beautiful things. Why not be surrounded by beautiful aspects of your own money? Think about it for a minute. When you look at your house, what do you see? You see things that are depreciating, or is it appreciating? I made it a point many years ago to not have anything around the house that would not appreciate. Anything that wasn't going to depreciate was going to be trashed. Not a concept that you'll hear any other person say, probably. You want to say anything about that? About your growing asset pool? You were not of an asset-oriented disposition when you came to us. I don't think assets were on your mind. Or were they? Am I doing you an injustice?
That's not as much as now. Any successful business person needs assets, you know. Successful business person knows that assets are a part of them, should be a part of them, and, you know.
The ideal scenario is to be surrounded by things that you love, which appreciate. If you go to a car dealership and you buy a car, it depreciates by whatever percentage, 20, 30% when you drive it off the lot. I just purchased 16 solid silver royal dinner plates, which will feed me nicely for dinner parties and whatever. and make money at the same time. That's what all assets in play means. And as more money comes in, more assets will be generated. I'm sorry?
All birds with one stone. All assets in play.
Yes. I prefer not to think of them as birds somehow. But in any event, let's take a look and dedicate this program to some live people. From Lee, from the US of A, from Emma, that's Emmy, from the US of A. Folks, here's the deal that I want you to understand about Worldprofit. This is the World Marketing Center. This is for online and offline and all lines, and a direct line. You're here to make money. Now, here's the problem. You know what the biggest problem with Worldprofit is? People who come in here and sit here and do nothing, say nothing, and nothing. We spend more time wasting it on the Goombas. Now, let's do an experiment. Lee, I'm going to give you 1 minute to say hi to Jeremiah and to me. 1 minute. And Emmy, if that is indeed your name, 1 minute to say. And if you don't respond to us, we're going to assume that you're time wasters. We're going to throw you out. We make millionaires here. Okay, now Lee, you've been here before, 4 times. And I'm going to ask you point blank, why haven't you joined us yet? And I'm going to dedicate this program to Lee, who's been here 4 times to make a decision that should have been made in the first visit. So he wasted our time, he wasted his time. Lee, why didn't you join us? And I'd like a really specific, honest answer. Okay, you say you have no money. That's, first of all, a fib. Do you have any assets? Do you have a piggy bank? Do you have a Band-Aid box filled with quarters? Have you got anything? Of course you do. You know, Lee, I bet if I came to your house within 10 minutes, I'd be able to smoke out where you hide the money. Lee, do you smoke? You smoke those cigarillos? LSMFT, Lucky Strike, means fine tobacco. Do you smoke, Lee? How about do you drink? I don't mean water. Take the occasional cocktail? No. Do you play the lottery game?
Welcome back, Bob Holt.
Do you win ever? And how much would you say in a standard month do you spend on the lottery tickets? How much do you spread at average? Well, come on. What state has $4? What state has $4 tickets? Not in Massachusetts. Jeremiah, would you say that that's a realistic number? The state of California has $4 tickets. What? Is this true? Does anybody know? This can't be true. Massachusetts tickets don't even start for many more than $4. Jeremiah, do you want to add a comment here? I myself am not a level player.
Is that 2 Powerballs, Lee, or how are we playing here? $1 per ticket, so you play 4 tickets a month.
Yeah. We've descended to a new low.
All 52 cards in a row.
Yeah. I've tried really hard not to get up here. Do you have any investments of any kind? Do you have a house? Mortgage? You have no assets whatsoever. Absolutely not. Okay, Leo, let me ask you a question. If you were to be given the choice between being happy at having 4 assets or having to work for new assets, what would you choose? Happy with what you've got or wanting more? You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I'm writing about in my autobiography. He's happy with nothing.
Are you content with nothing?
And may I ask you, it's this pertinent but statistically important question, how old are you? Here we have, friends, the new American paradigm. He doesn't want anything. He's living, he's 40 years, 62 years old. He's going to get a few $100 a month from Social Security in about 5 years. Your Social Security date is 5 years from now, correct? Or is it 6? It's one or the other. Are there coming out money for your kids? That where are you getting this money from your kids today? Maybe money from your kids. I wish to declare that as things presently stand, Lee is hopeless. He will never amount to anything. He will not have any money. He will not have any assets. He will not go anywhere because he hasn't money. But no one will bother him. They'll say, Lee, can you come out and help the pancake squad here for the Boy Scouts? Whoop, can't do it. Haven't got any gas. Lee, if you are happy, truly happy, having absolutely nothing, then with God's blessing in mind, please leave. Because this is not a place for you. We are looking for people who want to better their circumstances, for whom a little is not enough, for whom a lot is not enough. Whose favorite word calendar is more, M-O-R-E. Jeremiah, we're just in an instance of the problem. These people come in here, and I don't know that they think we're here to get free money hanging from the trees, but he has told us he has nothing, wants nothing, we have nothing, we'll live in nothing. What's your analysis of this?
I want to know. I have one question for Lee. Lee, why have you been here 4 times if that's the case? If that being the case, why do you keep coming back here? If you indeed want nothing more than what you have.
Jeremiah's asking the key question. He's got down to the Perry Mason itis of this case. Lee, would like an answer to this question. Supposedly you're happy. You've come here to take the monitors off their track with the expectation that maybe you were serious. That was a bad move, Lee. And if you're so happy, why do you keep coming here? And we do need an answer from this. Now, I'm glad that this played out the way it is, because Lee is the new prototype. There is a whole cadre of people. I would rate them as possibly as high as 75 to 100 million Americans who would get the exact same answer. Maybe they fancy it up a bit. But what Lee is saying is, I don't want to do it here. Yes, sir. Yes, and that's all you can do. You can hope. You have nothing to. You bring nothing to the table. There's no air in dealing with you. Lee, listen to me well. I am a multimillionaire.
Floats, Lee.
I live like a multimillionaire too. Here's the thing, Lee. I could turn you into a millionaire, given the world enough time, but I'd have to have your total cooperation. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. If you're truly happy living in the mud, stay there. Now, Jeremiah, you're getting a little more conservative every day. Are you on the liberal side today that we should waste a lot of time in him, or the conservative side that says, which side are you on today?
Catch that?
Nope.
Conservative side, Dr. Lant. Conservative.
You must have had something in your milk this morning. You always go for the liberals. I want to say something. I am not offended by Lee existing. I am offended by Lee coming in here to waste our time when he knows he doesn't have the wherewithal to play. You know what I mean?
Well, Lee shows us no, how do you say?
Courtesy.
Courtesy, number one. And he has no desire to help himself. He shows no desire whatsoever to help himself.
Absolutely none. all my...
Got all the luck we need right here.
That's true. We have everything you're going to need. You still see me because I have a black... Oh, there. Back. My screen's appeared. Isn't it? Lee, let me ask you a question. I want to know an answer. You see, thanks for everything. So bye, good luck. See, he's a mooch. He's a parasite. Lee is hoping that the rich will drop a crumb off their table, so he will not have to do anything than crawl over and eat it. Does anyone care to challenge my description? Lee is a parasite with no goals, no aspirations. But if something falls in his lap, good all if it does. If it doesn't, good all, it doesn't matter. Now, Lee, do you usually go around saying God bless you? Because that's the finishing piece of your analysis here. Do you notice how it's poor people who use the God bless you? Rich people never say that to you. They know what God has blessed them by the amplitude of what they made, what they've created. Well, I am ecstatic that Lee has visited us, because he's absolutely the paradigm for the worst kind of person that exists. I'm very concerned with some trends, and I want to state a couple of them here. First of all, I was reading an article in the Associated Press this morning about North Africa, Syria, and the Middle East. There are now 221 million children in those areas who will never see one day out of school or have 1 minute of education. Lee could be one of them for all I know. The plain fact of the matter is that we have created a time bomb. Take 2,000 of those 21 million and turn them into terrorists, send them to terrorist schools, and we have major disruption around the United States, Europe, all the developed countries. We're in a position where the younger the child, the more young people there are, the more dangerous is our lives. What do you want to say about that, Jeremiah? It's a terrifying scenario. Absolutely terrifying.
There's no direction anymore.
Well, there is direction. The terrorists will come into those communities offering food, blankets, medication, guns, and a reason for being, which they will call their particular religious fantasy. Okay, Lelaine has been here 19 times. Lelaine is a mooch. Lelaine never has any money. Lelaine never follows directions. Lelaine has been told do not return without $100. She doesn't listen. Lelaine, you are not welcome here. You want to know how that arrived? Because I cannot have my monitors, who are generous of their time, dealing with you, who are completely selfish. Strong language, Dr. Lant. What are you going after here? Jeremiah, 19 times, no action, complete, never any interchange. And I'm going to give Lelaine 1 minute. And I have made it a point of my administration that if these people come in here without the idea where $100 is going to come from, they must leave. And if they will not leave, they must let us. Now, why don't you just pop Lelaine off and charge Jeremiah? Lelaine does not belong here. What concerns me about these large global trends, and by the way, Worldprofit is a worldwide organization. We help people in every country. Could I help Lelaine? If Lelaine spent one concentrated hour with me, or good intentions on both sides, I get that person started on the road to money. If they follow my advice, they make more money. And I'm going to give you an illustration here of Mahoney's Garden Center, Lexington, Massachusetts. Lexington, by the way, for those of you who have never seen the American Revolutionary battle sites, it is a lovely, lovely town. It's right next to Concord, where the shot heard around the world was first fired. And many years ago, probably about 75 years ago, old Mr. Mahoney started a garden center, and he started it by the side of the road with cardboard boxes. And he'd sell his tomatoes, he'd sell his corn, he'd sell his vegetables. He liked being outside. He liked having his own business, even though it was small. But he had a dream. He would concentrate on the growth, development, and quality. Happened I have to meet him about 30 years ago when I was at Harvard. By that time, he was very wealthy, very friendly. Boy, if you wanted to talk about tomatoes, that guy would talk your ear off. And he'd be showing, like a good entrepreneur that he was, he'd show you, see this tomato, see this squash, eat this, some of these mushrooms, they're excellent. Like all entrepreneurs who are successful, he exuded happiness, friendliness, determination, organization, and just plain common sense, which my father says quite rightly is the most uncommon thing of all. Today, Mahoney's covers a whole block. It is huge. I love going there every 10 years, and the reason I only go every 10 years is because I would buy the whole damn thing. I love plants, I love flowers, I love packaging, I love the cut flower, I love the whole shebang. What does this tell us? It tells us that you have to love your business. Jeremiah, do you see that you are going to love being online? Is this going to be one of the loves of your life?
Love being online. Bread and butter. I live and breathe it. That's what separates me from everybody else.
Not quite everybody. I think I'm on the same side. I think Kosch is on the same side.
Well, from 90% of the people out there.
You know what I like about being online? I'm almost 70 now, and I have the usual health problems. Septuagenarian, not many know the word. That means 70-year-olds. Septuagenarians. That's me. I'm just a little bit not quite there yet. Just a little bit. I can go to sleep, get up in the middle of the night if I want to, which I clearly do, write something, work on a book, work on making some sales, and not feel oppressed in any way. No one's stressing me out. I do it at my own pace. I do it very well.
Reliever.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. My stress comes from balancing monitors who get sick, and disappear, and reappear, and that's the nightmare of my life. Now, how many of you like the idea of profiting on the net? I don't just mean casual. I mean, how many of you see it as part of your life as you grow up? Me, sure, mine. Anybody else? Anybody else in this room see online ventures of whatever nature that they are as part of the future? I'm not surprised if Patrice would be next. Patrice, Porter, you have an urgent plea. Never leave again. Call them, have them come visit you, but don't go there. You were away too long. I'm beginning to have separate Patrice Porter withdrawal symptoms. Anybody else? Is it us? It wouldn't surprise me if it was just us. People who get ahead make money. I'm going to give you another illustration from Massachusetts, out in Worcester, Mass. Worcester, Mass is the western part of the state. People forget that Massachusetts is a big state and it has a elongated state. Worcester, Mass is about in the center. There was a man out there who used to buy, he's dead now, he too I met once. He bought carloads of overstock. Sometimes a company would ship such and such an amount of goods, food, clothing, whatever it was, and the people who were originally ordered it wouldn't take possession. And so he'd buy 100 tons of birdseed for like a penny on the dollar. And pretty soon he would offer these incredible deals. I mean, there's one thing that Americans love is deals. Deals, deals, deals. So he got to be famous for, first of all, he wore a cowboy hat, which is very unusual in Massachusetts. We don't have the cowboys, but that was his symbol. And he was, guess what, affable, friendly, kind. He wanted to show you what he had. He cut a banana split for you. He was engaged with his business. I'm engaged with my business. George Kosch is engaged with his business. Jeremiah is engaged with his business. But most of you are not. Most of you wonder how you can steal a little money and go home. This guy who was worth over $100 million in his death. He wore his jeans. He looked he was from out of Yoko from 1935, which he actually was. But he understood that the essence of business is commitment, showing up, making great deals every day of your life, Sometimes you're going to lose on those deals. Sometimes you're going to win. Now, my 16 plates that I just got in the auction in New York, I got an incredible deal on these plates. Somebody that had a bad day. To make my day good, somebody had to have a reasonably good day. And it goes back and forth. Business is never always about winning. It's always about trying to win. And it's about sometimes accepting situations which are not winnable, but just hold your nose and you do it because that's what business is all about. You guys in this room are not in business. You don't study, and that's another thing. If you're going to succeed in business in a world as change-oriented as we are, you're going to have to do homework. People say, homework? Oh my God, like I was putting a bullet to their head. My response is, that's the way you feel about it. Keeping your skills current. Get out! Get out! Get out, maggot! Get out! Get out! Get out! If you're going to make money on the internet, it's going to change. George Kosch has made it easy for us to absorb the rate of change. He absorbs the rate of change and diminishes its impact. But in reality, if there was no Kosch in the equation, you had to figure these things out for yourself, you'd be so totally daunted, you wouldn't have any clue. People who make money on the internet have teams of people who work for them, help them, check them, counsel them, move them around the board. What about that, Jeremiah?
Definitely, I couldn't agree more. I'd agree more.
One of the major things, maybe the major thing that keeps Worldprofit unique is George Kosch. Now, I'd like to brag him out of his lair where they just put him on the screen and say, George, I want everyone, look at, this is George Kosch. And then I'd like to do the same thing for me. This is Jeffrey Lant. I am technology. I am not even the 5th. I can hardly tie my own shoes, which was a cocktail joke my father used to use. He used to say, here's my son, the Harvard graduate. He can't even tie his own shoes. My father would tie my shoes and everybody laughed. I'll get to daddy for that one. The plain fact of the matter is that George Kosch is the reason we're able to offer these incredible deals. If you don't promote, if you don't follow the directions in the boot camp, you're just wasting your time and money. And you're wasting his brain. And of the three, time is irreplaceable. Money is the easiest thing in the world to get. It's the easiest because it's man-made. I was reading an article the other day, Jeremiah, about 2000 recession. Do you know the President of the United States went to the Treasury Department and said, how many trillions do we have to print up? They just went there and printed trillions of dollars. There was no standard of any kind. They said they tried to figure out the maximum number of dollars that they could put into the economy with the minimum inflationary risk. And that's how come we got out of the recession. Because they just went there and just empty sheets of paper and made money. There was no backing up power at all. I thought, my God almighty. And so now the Europeans are doing the same thing because they're in a recession. What do you want to tell these people who are listening to us and they're not believing them? Oh, what does Lant know? Lant knows this. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up a multimillionaire. The next day I'm going to be even a richer multimillionaire. That's what I know. And I know that part of the reason for that, a substantial part, is named George Kosch. And I know that these things are linked. And I'm not so stupid that I'm going to break something works. Do you know how many invitations I get during the course of every week that says, enjoying my new opportunity? It hasn't made a dime of revenue, but I'm sure there will be $1 million. And you know we'll probably this, that, and are you people morons? I'm going to give up a multi-million-dollar play that has already been producing profits for 23 years for some absurd, bogus so-called business opportunity? Isn't that insulting to Jeremiah? Really get my craw.
It's I don't know that it should insult you. It just makes you, it should make you think. Look what everybody thinks of. They know you can make it happen. And they can't. So therefore, they go to you for your wisdom.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. I have been solicited more times than. Well, let's not talk about that. People come to me because they don't want to work. They think, well, Jeffrey Lant likes to work, and if we got him in our opportunity, we would have work. I wouldn't touch any of these things with a 10-foot pole, and I made sure that I authorized them to make sure there was no plague Priscilla Salmon. And now listen to me, folks. In the last 23 years, I have had one opportunity, World Profit. I have come to work every day that I wanted to work in one place, World Profit. I have helped people make money in one place, World Profit. I've never joined anything else I've ever seen to. I don't even belong to Facebook or anything, Twitter. I belong to one thing which predictably produces money, which enables me to do what I love, write books, and collect art. So, let's go through the list here and see what we can do with these people. And by the way, I have no aversion to people doing multiple income streams. Quite the contrary, I'm totally in favor of it. But remember, you guys are trying to build multiple income streams online, which is fine. But I'm trying to build my multiple income streams through my trust fund, through my art account. Equally good ways of making money. The important thing is that you have multiple income streams to begin with. Jeremiah, I know because people tell me that you have multiple income streams and that you're beginning to understand the point of having them. Is that true?
There's no way you can rely on one thing.
No,
you learn that real fast here.
Some things go up and other things go down, and so on and so forth. One day, it was about 10 years ago, someone had stolen one of my checks. That's how this happened. And the bank made me change all my accounts, and it was like a night making there. I was down at the trust department filling out all these papers. And the trust officer was very smart. She said, you really shouldn't be doing this. And I said, I really shouldn't be doing this. She said, would you like to avail yourself of other opportunities? And I said, yep. And she called the number, and a vice president, actually senior vice president, jumped over the landing. And I said, well, that really is the fastest service I've ever got. He said, well, we've been wanting you as a customer for a long time. You're smart. You're easy to deal with. You let us get out with our job, and we get on with yours. Truer words were never spoken. How many of you every month try to balance your checkbook, put away some money for, a savings account? Jeremiah, do you have these devices?
Got a couple of IRAs out there. I've got different savings accounts. One that it's actually a freeze account that I can't touch.
Do you understand that you are not an expert in money?
Oh, totally.
Are you an expert? Money is a commodity like cantaloupes.
I understood that, I didn't have any. Because I thought I knew everything about money. Turns out I knew nothing.
Now, I knew a lot, but I didn't think that I knew any more. Not only that, but as my businesses grew, and note that it was a plural, I didn't have time to follow the stock market in detail. And so when this gentleman popped up, he literally jumped over the balustrade. And I said, one of these days you're going to hurt yourself if you keep doing that. And he took me up to the conference room of the bank, and there were plastic cups. And I said, look, I can't do any business with the bank. It says, get yourself some crystal glasses from, go over there to the store at Harvard Square, which sells kitchen thing, the dining room. We'll get yourself 12 glasses. So the next time I do copper glasses. So that was the beginning of my relationship with the bank. Let me tell you what having a trustee account is. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to do anything to it. If there's anything, I get a monthly newsletter by listing the stocks that they put me into, the stocks that they take me out of, the reasons why they did it. And you know what? It's such a liberating feeling. The 16 German plates, the royal plates that I just purchased about an hour ago, are being paid for out of the interest of the money from the trust account. In other words, we didn't touch the capital, they're being paid for by the interest. That's where I say all assets in play. You say, I can't do that. I say to you, you haven't thought about doing it. It doesn't have to be art. It can be silver bars, it can be gold, toothpaste, whatever you want. What I discovered was that, and by the way, they take 1% per year fee, and in my case, they're doing very well, nicely. But obviously, they get more. The more they make my account go up, the bigger their fee, the more they get. And that's fine with me. It's all being paid out of dividends.
Not out of your pocket. Right.
So not a dime. The only thing that I'll have to pay for is the appreciations, the income appreciation. But here's the thing. Many years ago, I purchased an internet stock during the go-go years of 1999. I had a loss. And that loss has been giving me money to play with for the last 20 years. I've used that to offset the capital gains with capital loss. So again, and let me say this very clearly, the economic playing field of the United States is made for people to get rich. The whole system is wired to becoming wealthy. Do you want me to say this again? Do people understand it? If you're not, sometimes we hear people that come here and say, I only pay cash for things. I said, well, then you're not going to have too many things.
Exactly.
You want to be able to pay for your increased wealth off your dividends. You want to be able to deduct any losses that you've had. You want to be able to take maximum charitable donations, and so on and so on. I'll tell you a story. When I decided to go seriously into collecting art, I mean really important art, I called up the AIDS Action Committee of Boston. I was a contributor to their charitable works. And I said, I want to give you everything in my house. They went, what? They sent out 2 massive beacons moving vans, and we filled it with absolutely everything that wasn't imperative. There was some certain things I wanted to do, but I wanted to give away everything that looked like Martha Stewart. That then became a giant tax deduction, which set up a slush fund so that I could buy really good stuff. It was very artistic. You think you're going to be worse off, it's going to be inconvenient. It was such a moment of relief when I gave absolutely everything away. What do you think? You haven't heard that story?
Haven't.
Now, why would you want to hold on to something which was non-appreciating, will never make any money? When I buy things for my collection, let's say I fell upon hard times when I was 90, I needed the money. Everything in here is an asset. I simply go and choose an asset and say, okay, how much are we talking about? We need 50,000, 100,000, then we're going to do this, this, and this. It's all laid out. I'm a very conservative economic player, and I want to win every time. It's not possible to win every moment, but I'm sure we can win most of the time. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about? Does anyone care? You want to say, well, how many people in this room are happy being broke? It's not a sin. It's just stupid, but it's not a sin. How many people in this room right this minute are with being broke and don't care if they make another dime their whole life? Anybody going to admit to this? See, Jeremiah, I can't succeed with these people because they never say anything. Yes, Patrice. Patrice is broke for this reason. She's a kind lady. I've said so in my book. She's a pip of a person, a pip of a friend, a pip of a monitor. And she's so good at giving stuff away that she doesn't take care of herself. The first thing I do with Patrice is I put her in quarantine away from all the creatures or the parasites in her life. She's surrounded by parasites. Now, she's not going to tell me this. She's going to hint that I might be right, but she's never going to confirm that because the parasites might be listening in right this minute and they might not like being called parasites. Patrice, the reason you are in the position you are is because you allow people to pick your pocket at a regular interval. You don't pick theirs. There is no equity in that. You can believe me or not, but I think you and I both know that I'm right. Anybody else want to throw a comment on there? Jeremiah, want to throw a comment on that?
You're exactly right. That's what separates the rich people from the poor people. Far in between.
One day, a member of the room. All the children of David Rockefeller live in Cambridge. They all went to Harvard and Radcliffe. down the street from me, Peggy Rucker's daughter, and I have done some work in the past. She's the youngest daughter. Her father is a multi-billionaire. She told me two things. Wisdom number one is do not assume that the richest person at a lunch party will pick up the check, and do not presume that they're waiting for the chance to pay your lunch bill. They're not. One of the most interesting little vignettes that I think I'm putting in the book, there were 5 people. I think we were in Las Vegas in the airport. 4 of them were millionaires, and one guy was a schlepper with not 5 cents. So when lunch came, fine wines and the whole bit, we stood the bill. We said, you're going to pay this bill because you got to know what it's like to be poor, really poor and without any money. But, I have a nice life. We stiffed him with the bill. Every time he sees me, which is not so infrequently, he says, that was the best thing you ever did for me. I hated your guts who did it to me. I was so embarrassed and angry and I didn't have the money, but I learned to make money so that would never happen again. And if that isn't the biggest compliment I get, I don't know. Let's see what Patrice is saying. Patrice says, I'm making more money, not broke now, but to hesitate to say things from others. If Patrice would follow my advice, which she's reasonably good at, I'd say she follows 33% of it, she would be, you would begin to develop the concept of superfood, that you had more than you immediately need just then. And Jeremiah, what I'm going to do here is we're getting to the end of this. I want you to bring up Patrice because to take a bow, then I'm going to bring you up to finalize, and then we're going to go back to what we do best, making money. And people, I am so glad I did this. I feel cleansed, because most of you are clueless on any subject of money, and I've given you some very good advice, which you won't follow, but I at least have given it. Oh, so you have no camera. Jeremiah, give him your last thoughts.
I hope everybody got something out of today. I always do, Dr. Lant. I appreciate all the time that you do give us, speaking the knowledge you have. With that said, I'm going to step down, let Patrice come up, and I will be right back up for the next hour, okay?
Patrice can't come up because she doesn't have a camera. But who is the next monitor?
Can you hear me, Dr. Lant? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, you just can't see me, so.
Yes.
The mic is still fine. It just.
Okay, so you look like Jeremiah.
Yeah, but the.
What do you think of my down-home advice here about money?
Well, it's excellent, and it's a different viewpoint of money that not many people have, really. And it's learning to take that viewpoint and develop it so that we can fulfill some of the desires we have and live a richer life. That's and I would so like to be able to see. Come visit your place there and see your surroundings and I've only got bits and pieces of it, but it's from hearing all the stories and it's just fascinating for what you've created and what you've created here at Worldprofit, the opportunity. It's wonderful.
Okay, we want Walter to hold on, Walter, for just a moment. When I was a young man, I was from Illinois. People in Illinois don't have trust funds and royal accoutrements. They don't. It's a totally different sort of environment. But it was my goal. And now what I'm going to tell people what I'm going to do. So I bought these 16 royal plates an hour ago. I'm going to call up a bank, have them take the money out of my trust fund, which is really not touching the capital at all, just the income. So that in fact these devices, these plates, will cost me a tax and nothing else. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. That's really putting all your assets into play. It's that's the way to be. And
Now that happy note, you tell the people anything in particular? We're so glad you're back.
Yes, and I'll be back on video. I get my camera tomorrow, so I'll be up and running. Well, Saturday I'll be up, and this evening I'll see you for the taping of
yes, at 7 Eastern.
The last Boston Marathon.
The 4th article.
Bombings, yeah, that'll be excellent. We'll see you then, and on the next Anything Goes, 1 p.m. Eastern. Bye for now.
Now, who's coming up as the monitor for this slide? Jeremiah is coming up.
Thanks, Patrice. Thanks. Glad to have you back.
Now, are you the monitor duty?
Yes, I'm up for the next hour, Dr. Lant. Yes, sir.
I wrote last night. I rather shattered all day, actually. But I'm very, very concerned about the geopolitical situation. And when I read articles about millions of children that will have not one day in the classroom, which also implies that they'll be malnourished because very often food is given out, milk and whatever, in the classroom. What I'm worried about is not just children themselves, which is a big enough problem, but what will be done. They will be turned into weapons by terrorists. Protection, place to stay, a friendship group, food, all come from terrorism. And terrorists are establishing camps now across northern Africa. I've been reporting on the situation in Mali for some time. And I think we are living with our heads in the sand. If we stop thinking that those things matter, they matter a great deal to a great many of us. First on the humanitarian level, secondly of all, about the strategic level. And then when you add to the fact that a pilot drove a helicopter right through the defense perimeter of the capital of the United States and landed on the lawn yesterday.
Yeah, did you see that? That's crazy.
It's scary. It's frightening. We spend trillions of dollars and some knucklehead can get through the whole defense perimeter right into the heart of the government. Well, so much for that. I'm going to take a nap. I believe you were in good hands with Jeremiah. Jeremiah is still leading up the pack. I authorize you to give away as many call loops as you can. People need to understand that, again, Worldprofit is in the forefront. But I want everyone to realize that when we saw Lee tell us that he was happy with nothing, that's a paradigm. That's not him. There are millions of people, possibly as many, 70 million Americans who will give the same kind of answers. What he wants is enough to get by, living in filth, doing nothing, achieving nothing, but that's enough for him. I think it's repellent, I think it's disgusting, but it's a reality of our times. And we who work will be shouldered with the responsibility for them. We will carry them like an albatross around our neck forever. And that's not politics, it's not fun, it's not fair, but it is reality. I will be back this evening, shortly before 7 o'clock, and we have the pleasure of hearing from our colleague, Lant Sumner. We'll be reading the fourth of these four-part installment that I wrote because of the Boston Marathon massacres. I was in there. I was very definitely a part, a player who I did not mean to be a player. And I went to this evening the fascinating story of how I was involved in the billion people that my story was brought to thanks to CNN. Back this evening, about 7:15. Take over now, Monsieur.